Welcome back to another action figure review. In this review, we'll be taking a look at the Joytoy Battle for the Stars, the Saluk White Flame Legion. Now when you first get this, it'll come with like a plastic wrapped around it. I went ahead and removed it because it was causing a lot of glare with the lights and the camera, so it didn't really help much because the plastic kind of reflects the light really well. So we'll try to do our best with the packaging review. So it comes in a nice window box display for your collectors that like to keep your figures in the packaging. You can see all three figures, the female in the middle and two males on the outside. On the right, we have that very nice artwork of this set. On the bottom left, we have the Battle for the Stars logo and the Saluk White Flame Legion nameplate right beside it. Now for the top of the packaging, we do have the Battle for the Stars logo. They're in Chinese. We have warning, turkey hazard, small parts not for children on the age of 3. And these are recommended for ages 15 and up. And on the bottom packaging, we have product parameters. We have the Joytoy information there. A UPC on the bottom right. Then at the top, we have the Saluk White Flame Legion nameplate. There's a UPC. I don't think that's going to help you much here if you live in the United States. So on the side, we have the Saluk White Flame Legion logo and nameplate. And here we have the Joytoy logo with the red space background. For the back of the packaging, there's not much to see. It does have a window box displaying most of the accessories that come in this set. It's just really cool how you display the weapon so you can see it. At the bottom, you have the Battle for the Stars logo in Chinese and in English. So there's really no tape on these boxes beside the actual plastic wrap that comes on it whenever you first get it. So just gotta get it open. And the plastic, you can really manipulate it pretty good. Pull these out like so. Here's what the tray looks like. And here's what the weapon side looks like. And you just kind of like sandwich together like so. You can insert a couple of the weapons pieces. So we have the Saluk White Flame Legion, white lettering, red background. On the back here we have the component parts, some Chinese, different photographs of the figures, geared up and geared down. Here's precautions. If you want to pause and read that, you can. And here is a picture of how to disassemble your figures. Pretty cool. So the trays are pretty much just held together with friction. So you just remove it just by picking up on the top piece, and then you have access to your figures. You get 3 figures. You get a female, and you get 2 males, which we'll be taking a look at here. So we'll start off by taking a look at the female first. She's probably my favorite figure out of this set. This is an older Joytoy set as of this release of this video. I was kind of on the fence of picking it up or not because of the way the overall aesthetics are. You have the red face that kind of clashes with which you don't know if the red on the body is clothing or if it's actually her skin. And obviously her face is her skin, so it kind of matches the same as her body, because you kind of notice if that is her skin, her whole backside is exposed. It's kind of a unique design. I'm a big fan of the head sculpt on this character. I would love to see that in a different paint scheme with a flesh color skin. They could definitely use that head and get away with it as a different character. So, but for me, I kind of waited, and I think I'm gonna utilize these with one of my mechs, and we'll get into that a little later in a different video. But let's take a look at the overall aesthetics for figure. So her face sculpt's really good. She has some pretty wicked eyes, red skin, white hair with some dry brushing to bring out the sculpt work. It is one of the better female head sculpts in my opinion. I love how this hair comes down beside her face there, like very long sideburns, for example. She does have these shoulder harness pads here. They're done like a gunmetal color. Really cool. On her chest, she has some kind of emblem. Now, let's say, again, I don't know if this red is a bodysuit or if it's the color of her skin or what's gun for her, but we have the arms and stomach and the thighs are red. We have the white gauntlets on the arms. We have some gunmetal here on the back. Black fingers, white on the top of her hands. We have this white piece on the back. We have a white belt. And we have a gunmetal thigh pad here of armor. There's 2 straps. Then we have a whole leg, like one of those long socks that go way down. We have knee pads, a gunmetal knee pads. We have the white. It's very nice. They brought out the sculpt works in the legs. Then we have some gunmetal here on her heel and on the front of her shoe or boot. I should zoom out of here so we can see that a little better. But I mean, it's a cool figure. I like the overall design. It's just the head sculpts really throw you off, because if it was like maybe any other color than red, you would kind of get a feel of what's going on here. I want to say that they were going for like that skin maybe, because there's really no detailing to show like clothing. Oh, maybe right here you can see inside the thigh here. Maybe that is a suit. I'm not sure. I guess the only really way around it is to just use her helmet instead of the head sculpt, and it could use as a bodysuit if you wanted it to be a bodysuit. Alright, so let's take a 360 look at the character and try to get you guys some different angles so you can see the aesthetics and color of the figure, and if you can figure out for yourself what they're going for with the overall design. I mean, this is a nice figure. This kind of throws you for a loop on what we're doing here. Is the red the skin, or is it a bodysuit? Pretty interesting. So let's take a look at the articulation on the figure. The figure's head does look down very well. She can look up. She can look side to side. And of course she can do a 360 turn. All kind of different ways. A lot of articulation in the neck. Her shoulders are on a ball joint, but they're going to get a little hindered here if you wanted to bring them straight up until they hit the shoulder pads. You have to bring them out. Getting a lot of resistance right there, so I'm going to say that's it for that. So I mean, you can bring them back about that far. I think the shoulder pads are, maybe not. No, they're not removable. They're attached to this top piece here of her breast. So she has 360 rotation at the elbow. She has a bend at the elbow. Gets you 90 degrees, which is okay. 360 rotation at the wrist. And hands on that new style ball joint. As you can see, it kind of just rotates around the ball on any way you want to put it. And that's on both hands, are exactly the same articulation. So her chest articulation here, just below her chest, is all one piece with her actual shoulder pad there. So with that articulation, you can get a side to side, back, forward, more back than forward. Not seeing the Doesn't look like there's a waist swivel. No, it's all one piece. For the split, she gets about that much with nice, start getting a lot of resistance. This way, this leg hits her backside, and then see, she does have thigh rotation right there and right there. Her feet, she can sit very nicely. She has double jointed knees. She can kick herself in the backside. Her feet do pivot down, a little bit up, side to side, and then she has the rotation all the way around if that something you need. So it's a pretty well articulated figure. I like the overall aesthetic. It's just the overall paint on the face is the only thing I just don't know about. Other than that, I have no complaints about this figure. I think she looks fantastic. Very cool. And like I said, in my opinion, if that bothers you, kind of throws you for the loop, kind of does for me, you can use her helmeted head, which is a shame because I do love that head sculpt. Alright, so let's take a look at one of the male characters. Okay, so here's one of the male characters in no random order. It's just, he has the same color palette as the female character. Same white and same red, same face coloring issue with body paint, body skin color, body suit, not sure, but he has gold hair. So let's take a look at the head sculpt. He has like pointy ears. His hair comes to a point on top of his head, white eyes. His chest has a red piece in the center, some white and some gunmetal throughout there, and on his upper chest piece, red stomach there. There's what is it, like, yeah, it's some white and a little silver in there, or just underneath the chest. The back has some kind of thrusters or jetpack, maybe. Not sure. To have this kind of hybrid shell that goes up over to the back of his head. It almost looks like that would like unfold and come around to the front, like around to here. It's just, but it does not. It's just a solid piece. We have some red here in the back. On the shoulder pads, we have some nice, almost like tribal markings. Some gunmetal around the trim, a little red there. Some white gauntlets, black and white gloves. This belt is, well, it looks like this piece. This belt is white with that gunmetal throughout. Then we have this red crotch piece. It looks like that's all one piece. So if you probably would take that off, you're going to get that whole red crotch piece is going to come off with it. On the back, it's like we have some kind of gunmetal spinal cord looking thing. Very large thighs. The very large thigh pads. You got some, some slices here, trimmed with gunmetal. Same thing for that side. Some trimmer on the back, on the bottom. Looks like we have some red here, some white plates on the back of his thighs. Some very big legs. Gunmetal hoses. Then we have the white shin guards with the gunmetal trim. White shoes. The top of the shoe in front is red. The bottom are black. 2 pig holes. See that he has articulation in the feet. She does not have toe articulation. I just wanted to double check. So let's go ahead and take a look at the overall articulation. Head is on a ball joint. It rotates 360 inside that kind of a cylinder there. His head looks down really nicely. You can do it up, side to side. Ball joints rotate 360. They go up about that much because of the shoulder pads. We have 360 rotation at the elbow. Bendable elbows on both sides. it still gives us 90 degrees. So the rest, they're 360. And I have to take a look at that closer to see what there's, if any other articulation in the wrist. The best I can tell is on that same ball joint as the female. It just kind of rotates around the arm. It's kind of a little hindered because how much this gauntlet comes down over the wrist. We have chest articulation here, side to side, go forward, back a lot. We do have a waist swivel. I'm not going to force it. It's 360 if you want to attempt it. I think it's because of the way this crotch piece is made. That's as much as a split you're going to give this guy because of large slab pads. That's about the far as I want to push the tolerance. And sitting, not too good. And let's see, hip thigh rotation. Yes, there's thigh cuts right there on both sides. Okay, he has double jointed knees, but they're not going to be as great because of the large leg this guys have. So pivot down, back to stationary, not too much up because of the way that is designed there. Get side to side. 360 may be attempted if you force it. I'm not going to force it on expensive figures. So, I don't know. The figures are brutes. You can use them as brutes in your army. Pretty cool. I think for me, I don't like the red on the face, so I think I'll be using these guys as troopers. I'm not totally sure. In an upcoming video, I'm going to show you where the reason I actually bought these and with the mech that is coming out. And I think they look really well with them because you don't get any figure with that mech. But you can use them as troopers. Here's the other figure. It's exactly the same figure except for the head sculpt. At first appearance, you're probably thinking, oh no, that's the same head sculpt, but it's not. So you can use them as maybe like brothers or just guards if you want to swap out the heads. So let's take a look at this head sculpts together. You can see they are different. The hair comes to a different point in the front. Different face features on the sculpt work. On the side here, you can see the difference in the hair. Especially where it's cut like right in there. But they are exactly the same figure. The articulation is the same for these figures, so there's no point in doing the articulation for the third figure since they pretty much are the same. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so let's start taking a look at some of the accessories. Okay, you get one of these type of broadsword, I'm going to call it. It follows the same overall aesthetics and colors of the figures with the red, the silver, and the black. This black handle, this red body, this white body with this red interior. And we have these blades on the outside, silver. It looks like at some point maybe this would do something, maybe open up or fan out, but it may just be like a broadsword. It definitely gives you an appearance of there's a very sharp razor edge here on the silver. So I'm assuming this is pretty much intended for the male character due to the sheer size of it. You can see that the joints are tolerated nicely to where it can hold up that large weapon without flopping over. So that's how well he holds it. It's like a blunt weapon. Very nice. It's a shame there's nowhere to put any other weapons on the person. But it is what it is, I guess. So you get two of these type of swords. We have the bladed up top here from the middle to the top. Then we have the white with the red trim here on the base, black handle. Totally different style of a sword. Definitely probably more lightweight. Here we get 2 of those. Very cool. Definitely a very unique design for a futuristic weapon. And you can see how well he holds it here. Just as good as the broadsword. It's kind of a comparison on how those look. So you're going to get 1 of that sword and 2 of these. So each one of these would probably get 1 of those swords, with the option of the larger broadsword being for whatever character you decided to give it to. So next up, you do get these very cool Katana Swords for, I'm assuming these are for the female. Those blades are beautifully sculpted. Look at the charades on the blade there. They look incredibly realistically detailed, like something from like Boss Fight Studios. Black handles. Very nice. And as you can see, with those articulated wrists and arms, you can get some pretty dramatic poses out of her. I've been wanting Joytoy to actually dip into the ninja samurai universe and give us some ninjas. I think they would do a fantastic job with them. I mean, just having that sword for our very first ninja would be well worth it. You can just see the sculpt worked in that sword. That's incredible. She looks fantastic. I mean, she can some amazing poses out of her if you took the time to sit around and get her to stand very in a dramatic pose you would like. Looks very, very cool. So you get 2 sets of replacement hands, and I think they're both male replacement hands. So here's the first set. The second set is fisted hands. So they come with 3 alternate helmets. But I want before we get to those helmets, just behind one of the male helmets in the packaging, there's these 2 small, looks like wrist replacements. So just be careful that you don't lose those. These are very small when you take your figures outside the packaging. Okay, so you get 2 of these for the males. This is their helmets. We have the insignia on top, the red on top. We have these antenna type rabbit ears with the red and white and the gunmetal on the side. It looks like these would be articulated, but they're not. But and unfortunately, these are over the top helmets. It's almost like they were an over the top helmet, and they put these plugs in there or something to fill it in. Maybe it didn't work out because of the head style. But you have to actually remove those heads to put these on. So here's what the male characters look like with the helmet on. Articulation doesn't seem to be too much worse because it kind of does hit the back. You kind of lose a little bit of range overall if you decide to go with the helmet. And here's what the difference looks like. So it's up to you. That's your option you have. Now you have to use the ball peg that's in the neck to take it out of the normal head here and put it into the helmeted version, and it could be a little bit difficult to get out. There's 2 different size balls. So I think the bigger of the ball goes into the top and the small ball goes into the neck. It's just for your additional information. The female's helmet, very small. She has the silver around the visor, the white, silver on the back. There's some red here on the sides, a little bit of silver. A little bit of red there. Now for her, she kind of comes a little differently because they have the ball peg already in the hole. And basically she has a ball peg holding her head on currently. So that doesn't really apply to the male characters. So let's take a look and see how that looks on the actual figure. Okay, here she is with her helmet on. And she has a lot of space between her shoulder pads and her neck, so it doesn't really hinder her articulation at all with the helmet versus not having a helmet on. So this helmet kind of it doesn't have the antennas that the male characters have. I'm not sure if that would have been a better feature if she had them or versus not. I'm not sure if she necessarily is the leader of this team. The way it's presented, you would think she is the leader of the team. There's really no knowledge on the backstory of these characters. They just kind of release them and you do your own thing with them, I guess. Pretty cool. So here's a comparison. Yeah, they're pretty, so I've been on a fence for them, but I think it's that head sculpt, that red clashing with the body red. You don't know what's going on. I have no problem using the helmet version heads for my figures for what I plan to do with them on my shelf, but it's kind of a shame for me because I do enjoy this head sculpt of the female. I really like to use this head sculpt versus her helmet. I do like this better. Who knows what I'll do, but I kind of know what going to create like a little team for them and go from there, I guess, and maybe something will come out in the future to enhance the playability of this set. So these sets, they're still available through some retailers. They're like between like $69 to like $69 to like $75 here, depending where you get them at. I picked this set off of Amazon and it was $69. So you're looking just like 23 something a figure if you break it down. I don't know what to say about recommendations for these. They're pretty cool figures. It took me a while because these been out for a while. It took me a while to actually pick them up, and the reason I picked them up was because of a mech, not because of them. And I do like the female character. It's just the So I'm gonna leave that out there for you guys to decide on your own about recommendation of buying them or not. So still have to pay about between $60 to $75 for them if you do want these. Some of the China retailers don't have them any longer, so they're getting a little older. So if you're going to on the fence like I was, you might want to think about it a little more before they're gone and won't be able to find them, and they might shoot up in price. I don't know. But hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment and share the video with your fellow collectors and friends. And we will see you guys in our next review.